Hi, I'm JJ. I'm here to go over summarizing data using pivot tables in Google Sheets. In order to go over this, I've created a simple data set. I have my user ID here, which is a unique identifier for customers that have purchased on a store. I've then got a processing day. This is the day in which they created their order. I then have the amount. That is the amount of the order that they purchased. In order to summarize it, first of all, I need to select my data set. The quickest way to select that is to click on the top left cell up here, which will select the whole sheet. In order to access pivot tables, I now need to click on Data, and about halfway down, Pivot Table. I get an option here to either continue with the date range that I have, and whether or not to select a new sheet or create the pivot table on the existing sheet. To keep things clear, I'm going to say I want to create this on a new sheet. So here I'm going to say Create. So within pivot tables, you have rows. These are the rows that you display across here. You then have columns. Columns are what display down. You have values. Values are what are calculated within the rows and columns. And then filters that you can apply to your data set. I'm going to go for a simple example here where I want to see a breakdown of orders per customer per day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I want to add a row, and I'm going to add the row based on the processing day. You'll see, because I defined the data set as the full sheet, it has actually created a row here for the days where there is no day completed, the blank columns and rows. That's not ideal, so I'm actually going to click over here on the pivot table editor, and I'm going to select the data range. And actually, Google Sheets is clever and is suggesting that I select the range where the data exists. You need to be careful when doing this, because obviously if new data is added, it won't be part of your range, but you can work out what option works best for you. So I'm going to select the suggested range, and I'm going to say OK. So now we see that I have a row per day of the week. And what I want to do is I want to know how many orders I have taken on each day of the week. So to do that, I need to add some values. The values are going to be based on the user ID. And the reason they're going to be based on the user ID is because that is a unique order value. So I click on the user ID over here, and what that gives me is a count of each order that I have taken for each day. So what we can see here is Friday I took 90 versus Thursday where I took 87. Now I'm going to say that actually I want to view this in the order of the number of orders taken on a given day. So to do that, I look at my rows and I say I want to order that in ascending order based on the count of user ID. So the count of user ID shows me that actually Wednesday is the day in which I took least orders versus Saturday, the day I take the most. Now, that's a really interesting metric, but I also want to know the amount of orders that were taken on a given day. So to do that, I want to add additional values. So over on the values here, I'm going to click to add. And this time I'm going to say I want to add values based on the amount. What the pivot table does for you is it gives you the total amount on each day. I'm going to say, okay, now actually, whilst most orders or number of orders is important to me, what is most valuable to me is knowing when I took the most amount in order. So I'm actually going to change now how I order this. I'm going to say I still want it to be ascending, but I now want to sort by the sum of the amount. And what that allows me to see is that actually Thursdays is the day that I took the most amount of orders. So that's a basic overview of how to use pivot tables to summarize data. I hope that you found that useful. Thanks. Bye.